Hello, and welcome to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. I'm your host, and over the next several chapters, we're going to embark on a journey together. This isn't just about filling your drawers and cupboards with gadgets. It's about transforming your kitchen from a room where you simply cook into the true, beating heart of your home. It's about making your time there more efficient, more joyful, and ultimately, more delicious. Think about your kitchen for a moment. It's the place where the day begins with the smell of coffee brewing. It's where you might quickly assemble a lunch on a busy weekday, and where the symphony of sizzling pans and fragrant spices comes alive in the evening. It's where holiday memories are made, surrounded by the comforting aromas of a roasting turkey or freshly baked cookies. A well-equipped kitchen supports all of these moments, making them smoother and more enjoyable. In this series, we will cut through the noise. We've all seen those late-night infomercials for devices that promise to change your life, but end up collecting dust in the back of a pantry. Our focus is on the true workhorses, the must-have accessories that you will reach for day after day. These are the items that form the very foundation of good cooking. So, let's begin where all great meals start, with preparation. In this first chapter, we are laying the groundwork. We're talking about the fundamental tools that handle the chopping, slicing, dicing, and containing. Without mastering this stage, everything that follows becomes more difficult. Today, we're focusing on two of the most critical items in any kitchen, the chef's knife and the cutting board. Let's start with the undisputed king of the kitchen, the chef's knife. If you were to invest in only one high-quality piece of kitchen equipment, it should be a chef's knife. This single tool will be responsible for about 90% of your cutting tasks. From dicing an onion to mincing garlic, from slicing a chicken breast to chopping herbs, a good chef's knife is not just a tool, it's an extension of your hand. Many home cooks make the mistake of using a cheap, flimsy knife. This is not only inefficient, it's also dangerous. A dull knife requires more pressure to cut, which increases the chance of it slipping and causing an injury. A sharp, well-balanced knife, on the other hand, does the work for you, gliding through food with precision and ease. So, what should you look for in a great chef's knife? The ideal size for most people is an 8-inch blade. It's long enough to handle larger items like a cabbage, but nimble enough for smaller, more delicate tasks. Next, consider the construction. You'll often hear the term, full tang. This means that the metal of the blade extends all the way through the handle as one solid piece. A full tang knife is stronger, more durable, and has a much better balance than a partial tang knife, where the blade is only partially inserted into the handle. When you hold it, it should feel comfortable and balanced in your hand, neither too blade heavy nor too handle heavy. The material is also crucial. Look for high-carbon stainless steel. This material offers the best of both worlds. It holds a sharp edge like carbon steel, but it resists rust and corrosion like stainless steel. Don't be afraid to spend a little more on this item. A quality chef's knife from a reputable brand can cost anywhere from $50 to over $150, but think of it as a long-term investment. With proper care, a great knife can last a lifetime. Proper care means hand washing it. Never put a good knife in the dishwasher, as the harsh detergents and high heat can damage both the blade and the handle. It also means keeping it sharp. We'll discuss sharpening tools in a later chapter, but for now, know that a well-maintained knife is a safe and effective knife. Now, a king is nothing without his kingdom, and a chef's knife is nothing without its essential partner, the cutting board. The cutting board does more than just protect your countertops. It provides a safe, stable surface for all your prep work and plays a critical role in the longevity of your knife's sharp edge. Cutting on hard surfaces like granite, glass, or marble will dull your knife almost instantly. The most important rule of cutting boards is to have at least two. One should be strictly for raw meat, poultry, and fish. The other should be for everything else: fruits, vegetables, bread, and cheese. This practice is the single best way to prevent cross-contamination and foodborne illness in your kitchen. Many people use a color-coded system to keep them separate, for example, a red board for meats and a green or white one for produce. Now, let's talk about materials. The two most popular choices are wood and plastic, and both have their pros and cons. Wooden cutting boards, particularly those made from hardwoods like maple or walnut, are fantastic. They are durable, and research has shown they have natural antimicrobial properties. They are also gentle on your knife's edge. A good quality wooden board can last for years and often becomes a beautiful, rustic centerpiece in the kitchen. The downside is that they require more maintenance. They cannot be put in the dishwasher and need to be oiled periodically with food-grade mineral oil to prevent them from drying out and cracking. Plastic cutting boards, on the other hand, are champions of convenience. They are lightweight, relatively inexpensive, and most importantly, they are non-porous and can be sanitized in the dishwasher. This makes them an excellent choice for raw meats. However, they do tend to wear out more quickly. As your knife makes cuts, it creates small grooves in the plastic. Over time, these grooves can trap bacteria and become difficult to clean thoroughly. Once a plastic board becomes heavily scarred with deep cuts, it's time to replace it. So, what's the ideal setup? Many chefs and serious home cooks recommend having the best of both worlds: a large, sturdy wooden board for your everyday chopping of fruits and vegetables, and 1 or 2 dishwasher-safe plastic boards reserved exclusively for raw proteins. Regardless of the material you choose, make sure your board is a decent size. A board that is too small is frustrating and messy to work on. You want enough space to chop your ingredients and push them aside without everything spilling onto the counter. And here's a crucial safety tip: a slipping cutting board is a dangerous cutting board. To keep it stable, simply place a damp paper towel or a thin, damp kitchen towel underneath it. This creates a grip that will prevent the board from sliding around on your countertop. So to recap our first chapter, the absolute foundation of a functional American kitchen begins with a high-quality, 8-inch, full-tang chef's knife and a set of safe, properly sized cutting boards. By investing in these 2 items, you are not just buying accessories. You are setting the stage for a safer, more efficient, and more pleasurable cooking experience. Master these, and you're well on your way. In our next chapter, we'll build upon this foundation, moving from chopping and slicing to the essential tools you need for accurate measuring and effortless mixing. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. In our last chapter, we laid the foundation by focusing on the essential tools for preparation: a high-quality chef's knife and a reliable set of cutting boards. These are the tools that begin the transformation of raw ingredients. Today, we take the next logical step in the cooking process. We move from the art of the cut to the science of accuracy. This chapter is all about the essentials of measuring and mixing. Now, some might say that cooking is an art, not a science. And in many ways, that's true. A pinch of this, a dash of that. Great cooks often rely on instinct and experience. But before you can develop that instinct, you need to understand the fundamentals. And that's where precise measurement comes in. This is especially true in baking, where chemistry is at play. Too much flour can make your cake dry. Too little baking soda can make it dense and flat. Cooking can be forgiving, but baking is a science that demands precision. Having the right tools for measuring ensures consistency, which means you can replicate that perfect chocolate chip cookie recipe or that flaky pie crust time and time again. Let's begin with the most fundamental measuring tools: measuring cups. And right away, we need to make a critical distinction. There are 2 different types of measuring cups, and they are not interchangeable. I'm talking about dry measuring cups and liquid measuring cups. First, let's talk about dry measuring cups. These are the ones that typically come in a nesting set, often including a 1/4 cup, a 1/3 of a cup, a 1/2 cup, and a 1 cup measure. They are designed for measuring dry ingredients like flour, sugar, oats, or chocolate chips. The technique for using them is simple but important. You scoop the ingredient, often overfilling the cup, and then you use a straight edge, like the back of a knife, to level it off perfectly flat with the rim. This design, with a completely flat top, is what allows for an accurate, level measurement. When you're shopping for a set of dry measuring cups, look for stainless steel. They are incredibly durable, they won't stain or absorb odors, and the measurement markings are usually engraved, so they won't wash off over time like they can on plastic versions. The nesting design is a huge space saver in your kitchen drawers. This is a simple, inexpensive set of tools that will have a massive impact on the quality of your baking. Now, let's turn to their counterpart, the liquid measuring cup. This is typically a single cup made of clear glass or plastic, with a handle and a spout for easy pouring. You'll see measurement lines marked on the side. The most common sizes are 1 cup, 2 cup, and 4 cup versions. It's a great idea to have at least a 2 cup model, as it's incredibly versatile. So why can't you use this for flour? If you tried to scoop and level flour in a liquid measuring cup, you couldn't get it perfectly level because the spout and the space above the top measurement line get in the way. Conversely, if you tried to measure milk in a dry measuring cup, you'd have to fill it right to the absolute brim, making it almost impossible to carry to your mixing bowl without spilling. The proper way to use a liquid measuring cup is to place it on a flat, level surface like your countertop. Bend down so your eyes are level with the measurement line you're aiming for, and then pour in the liquid until the bottom of the meniscus, that's the little curve you see on the surface of the liquid, is resting on the line. Measuring it this way at eye level is far more accurate than holding it up in the air and looking down at it. A good glass one, like those from a brand like Pyrex, is a kitchen classic because it's durable and often microwave safe, which is perfect for melting butter or warming milk. Of course, for smaller amounts, we turn to measuring spoons. Just like measuring cups, a good set is non-negotiable. Look for a stainless steel set that includes, at a minimum, a 1/4 teaspoon, a 1/2 teaspoon, a full teaspoon, and a tablespoon. One key feature to look for is the shape of the spoon. Many cooks prefer sets with a narrower, more oval or rectangular shape rather than a perfectly round one. Why? Because that slender shape fits more easily into small spice jars, which is a small detail that you'll appreciate every single time you use them. Again, engraved markings are superior to printed ones that can fade with repeated washing. Now that we have all our ingredients perfectly measured, we need a vessel to combine them in. This brings us to the humble, yet absolutely essential, mixing bowl. You can't have too many mixing bowls. You'll use them for everything from tossing a salad, to marinating chicken, to whisking up pancake batter, to proofing bread dough. The best solution for most kitchens is to get a nesting set of bowls. This means you get a range of sizes, small, medium, and large, that all fit inside one another for incredibly efficient storage. Let's look at the most common materials. First up is stainless steel. Stainless steel bowls are the workhorse of both professional and home kitchens. They are lightweight, nearly indestructible, and they won't react with acidic ingredients like lemon juice or vinegar. They also won't absorb odors or stains from foods like garlic or beets. They can be chilled quickly in the freezer, which is great for whipping cream, but they generally can't be used in the microwave. For versatility and durability, a nesting set of stainless steel bowls is probably the best first choice for any kitchen. Next is glass. Glass bowls are great because you can see your ingredients from the side, which can be helpful when you're mixing. Many glass bowls are also microwave and dishwasher safe, and a beautiful glass bowl can often go straight from the kitchen to the dinner table for serving. The downsides are that they are significantly heavier than stainless steel bowls, and of course, they can shatter if dropped. Finally, there are ceramic and plastic bowls. Ceramic bowls are often beautiful and decorative, but they can be heavy and are prone to chipping, so they are often better for serving than for heavy-duty prep work. Plastic bowls are the most inexpensive and lightweight option, but they have significant drawbacks. They can absorb stains and odors, are prone to scratching, and can even melt if they get too close to a hot stove. While useful for certain tasks, they are generally less versatile than stainless steel or glass. For a well-rounded kitchen, a primary set of 3 to 5 nesting stainless steel bowls is the perfect starting point. You can then supplement this with a large glass bowl for microwaving or serving as needed. So, let's review what we've covered in our second chapter. The path to consistent, repeatable results in the kitchen is paved with accuracy. This is achieved with a dedicated set of dry measuring cups, at least one liquid measuring cup, a full set of durable measuring spoons, and a versatile, nesting set of mixing bowls. These aren't flashy gadgets, but they are the bedrock tools you'll rely on every day. In our next chapter, we'll turn up the heat. With our ingredients prepped, measured, and mixed, it's time to actually cook them. We'll explore the essential pots and pans you need to conquer the stovetop. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. In our journey so far, we've laid the groundwork for culinary success. We started with the foundational tools of preparation, our knife and cutting board. Then, we moved on to the science of accuracy with essential measuring and mixing tools. Now, with our ingredients prepped and ready, it's time to apply some heat. In this chapter, we are firing up the burners and diving into the world of stovetop cookware. When you walk into any home goods store, the wall of pots and pans can be overwhelming. You'll see massive 20-piece sets that promise to have a specific pan for every conceivable task. But I'm here to tell you a secret: you don't need all of that. In fact, a kitchen cluttered with mediocre, single-task pans is far less efficient than one equipped with just a few high-quality, versatile pieces. Quality over quantity is the golden rule of cookware. A few well-chosen pans will serve you better, last longer, and make your cooking more enjoyable. Before we discuss the specific types of pans you need, let's briefly talk about materials, because the material a pan is made from dramatically affects how it performs. First, there's stainless steel. This is the ultimate all-around workhorse. It's durable, non-reactive, meaning it won't impart a metallic taste to acidic foods like tomato sauce, and it's dishwasher safe. High-quality stainless steel cookware is typically clad, which means it has a core of a highly conductive metal, like aluminum or copper, sandwiched between layers of steel. This construction allows the pan to heat up quickly and, more importantly, evenly, eliminating hot spots that can scorch your food. Stainless steel is the best choice for getting a beautiful, brown sear on meats and for building delicious pan sauces. Next up is non-stick. Non-stick pans have a special coating that prevents food from sticking, making them a dream for cooking delicate items like eggs, pancakes, and flaky fish. They also make cleanup incredibly easy and allow you to cook with less oil. However, they have downsides. Non-stick coatings are not meant for high-heat cooking, and you must use wood, silicone, or nylon utensils to avoid scratching the surface. Over time, the coating will inevitably wear down, and the pan will need to be replaced. A non-stick pan is a valuable tool, but it's a specialist, not an all-purpose player. Finally, let's talk about a timeless classic, cast iron. A cast iron skillet is a kitchen icon for a reason. It is virtually indestructible. It boasts superior heat retention, meaning once it gets hot, it stays hot. When properly seasoned, which is a process of baking oil onto the surface, it develops a naturally non-stick finish. It's perfect for searing steaks, frying chicken, and getting a perfect crust on cornbread. The drawbacks. It's very heavy, it requires a bit of maintenance to keep it seasoned and rust-free, and it should not be used for long simmering acidic dishes. With that knowledge, let's build our essential stovetop toolkit. We'll start with the most used pan in any kitchen, the skillet. Also known as a frying pan, a skillet is a relatively shallow pan with sloped sides. This shape is perfect for sautéing vegetables, pan-frying pork chops, and moving food around easily. The most versatile size for a household of 2 to 4 people is a 10 or 12-inch skillet. If you are going to buy just one, make it a high-quality, clad stainless steel skillet. It will be your go-to for searing, browning, and sautéing. You can then supplement this with an inexpensive 8 or 10-inch non-stick skillet, which you reserve specifically for eggs and other sticky situations. This two-skillet approach gives you the best of both worlds. The next essential piece is the saucepan. A saucepan is deeper than a skillet, with tall, straight sides and a long handle. This is your vessel for all things liquid. You'll use it to boil water for oatmeal, cook grains like rice and quinoa, heat up soups, and of course, make sauces. A tight-fitting lid is non-negotiable for a saucepan, as it's crucial for trapping heat and steam. The most useful size to start with is a 2 or 3 quart model. Just like with the skillet, a heavy-bottomed, clad stainless steel saucepan is the best choice. The heavy base provides even heat that will help prevent your delicate sauces from scorching on the bottom. Finally, every kitchen needs one large pot for big jobs. Here, you have 2 excellent choices, a stock pot or a Dutch oven. A stock pot is tall and deep, usually made of stainless steel. It's designed specifically for tasks involving large volumes of liquid, like making soup stock, boiling a big batch of pasta, or steaming corn on the cob. However, if you want maximum versatility and are looking for a true kitchen heirloom, I highly recommend an enameled cast iron Dutch oven. A Dutch oven is a heavy, thick-walled pot with 2 handles and a heavy, tight-fitting lid. The enamel coating gives you all the benefits of cast iron's amazing heat retention without the need for seasoning and without reacting to acidic foods. A 5 to 6 quart Dutch oven is a perfect size. You can use it on the stovetop for making soups, stews, and chili. You can use it for deep frying. And, best of all, it can go directly from the stovetop into the oven for braising meats until they are fall-apart tender. It's an investment, but it's one of the single best and most versatile pieces of cookware you will ever own. So, let's summarize our essential stovetop collection. With just 3 key pieces, a 12-inch stainless steel skillet, a 3-quart saucepan, and a 6-quart enameled Dutch oven, you can accomplish the vast majority of your stovetop cooking tasks with excellence. You can supplement this core set later, perhaps with that non-stick skillet for eggs, but this trio is the powerful foundation you need. Now that we have the stovetop covered, what's next? In our following chapter, we'll move from the burners on top to the heat within. Join me next time as we open the door to explore the world of bakeware and roasting essentials for your oven. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. We've prepped our ingredients with a great knife, measured them with precision, and explored the essential pots and pans for the stovetop. Now, it's time to move beyond the burner and open the oven door. The oven is a magical space where gentle, ambient heat can transform humble ingredients into everything from a golden brown roasted chicken to a celebratory birthday cake. In this chapter, we're stocking your kitchen with the fundamental bakeware and roasting pans you need to unlock the full potential of your oven. Just as with stovetop cookware, the world of bakeware can be dizzying. There are pans in every shape and size imaginable. But our philosophy remains the same. Focus on the versatile workhorses, not the single-task novelties. A few well-chosen pieces will handle the vast majority of your oven-based cooking and baking needs. Before we jump into specific pans, let's quickly talk about materials, as they play a huge role in how evenly your food cooks. The most common material you'll see is aluminum, and for good reason. It conducts heat very efficiently and evenly, and it also cools down quickly once removed from the oven, which helps prevent your baked goods from overcooking. Look for heavy-gauge aluminum, as it's far more durable and resistant to warping at high temperatures. You'll also see plenty of glass and ceramic bakeware. These materials are heavier and take longer to heat up, but they retain that heat exceptionally well. This makes them perfect for things like casseroles and lasagnas, where you want the dish to stay warm on the dinner table. One word of caution: glass and ceramic are susceptible to thermal shock, so never take a hot dish and place it on a cold, wet surface, as it could crack. Now, let's build our essential oven toolkit, starting with the single most versatile pan you will ever own, the rimmed baking sheet. This might be the unsung hero of the entire kitchen. When you hear professional cooks talk about a sheet pan, this is what they mean. We're not talking about a thin, flat cookie sheet without edges. A proper rimmed baking sheet has a 1-inch rim all the way around, which is crucial for containing ingredients and drips. The standard size for home use is called a half-sheet pan, which measures about 18 by 13 inches. This size fits perfectly in most home ovens and is the standard for countless online recipes. Its uses are nearly endless. You'll use it for baking cookies, of course, but it's also your best friend for roasting vegetables, toasting nuts and seeds, cooking bacon with less mess, and creating entire sheet pan dinners by roasting your protein and vegetables together. Having that rim means you can cook things with juices or olive oil without fear of it spilling and burning on the floor of your oven. I strongly recommend having at least 2 of these heavy-duty, light-colored aluminum sheet pans. You'll be surprised how often you use them both at once. To make your life even easier, pair them with rolls of parchment paper or a reusable silicone baking mat. These create a non-stick surface, promote even browning, and make cleanup an absolute breeze. Next up, we need to talk about an icon of American home cooking, the 9 by 13-inch baking dish. This is the pan that comfort food is born in. From bubbly lasagna and cheesy enchiladas to rich brownies and classic yellow sheet cakes, the 9x13 is a cornerstone of the kitchen. For savory dishes like casseroles, a glass or ceramic version is a fantastic choice. As we mentioned, they hold heat beautifully, so your meal stays hot long after it comes out of the oven, and they are attractive enough to go directly to the table for serving. If you plan on baking more cakes, a metal 9 by 13 pan is a great option as it heats and cools more quickly. It's also worth having its smaller sibling, an 8 by 8 or 9 by 9-inch square pan. This is perfect for smaller households, side dishes, baking a perfect batch of cornbread, or when a recipe calls for thicker brownies or bars. Having both the large rectangular and smaller square dish covers a huge range of baking needs. Finally, while not everyone is an avid baker, there are a few basic pans that are essential for life's simple sweet treats. The first is a standard, 12-cup muffin tin. The versatility of this pan goes far beyond muffins and cupcakes. You can use it to make mini frittatas for a grab-and-go breakfast, perfectly portioned mini meatloaves, or even freeze single servings of pesto or stock. It's an organizational tool as much as it is a baking tool. For classic layer cakes, you'll want a pair of 8-inch or 9-inch round cake pans. Having 2 means you can bake your layers at the same time for consistent results. And rounding out our baking basics is a loaf pan. This is essential for classics like banana bread and pound cake, but it's also the perfect vessel for a traditional meatloaf. For these baking-specific pans, light-colored aluminum is generally your best bet, as it promotes gentle, even baking without the risk of dark, overcooked edges that you can sometimes get with darker non-stick pans. So let's step back and look at our core collection of oven essentials. With just 2 half-sheet pans, a 9 by 13 baking dish, a square 8 by 8 pan, and a 12-cup muffin tin, you are fully equipped to tackle an incredible variety of recipes, from savory weeknight dinners to delicious weekend baking projects. We've now covered the foundational tools, the measuring essentials, and the core cookware for both your stovetop and your oven. In our next chapter, we'll zoom in a little closer. We will open up the utensil drawer and the crock on your counter to explore the small but mighty gadgets and tools that make the entire cooking process smoother and more enjoyable. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. We've spent the last few chapters building the big picture foundation of your kitchen. We've selected our workhorse knife, chosen our essential pots and pans for the stovetop, and stocked our cupboards with the versatile bakeware needed for the oven. Now, it's time to zoom in. We're going to open the utensil drawer and look inside that crock on your countertop. This chapter is dedicated to the small but mighty tools, the everyday heroes that you'll reach for constantly. These are the utensils that bridge the gap between your hands and the food, making every task from stirring and flipping to straining and scraping feel effortless. Let's start with the tools you'll use most often right at the stove. First up, spatulas and turners. The word spatula can mean a few different things, so let's be specific. First, you need a good turner, also called a fish spatula or offset turner. A thin, sturdy, and slightly flexible metal spatula is invaluable. It's perfect for getting under a delicate piece of fish without breaking it, for flipping burgers on your cast iron skillet, and for lifting cookies perfectly from a baking sheet. Its thin edge is its superpower. For your non-stick pans, however, metal is a no-go. For those, you'll need a heat-safe silicone or nylon turner to flip your eggs and pancakes without ever scratching the delicate surface. Next to your spatulas should be a classic, the wooden spoon. There is a reason this simple tool has been in kitchens for centuries. It's sturdy enough to stir the thickest stew, it won't scratch any of your cookware surfaces, and the handle never gets hot to the touch. It's perfect for scraping up those flavorful brown bits from the bottom of a pot when making a sauce. Having a few in different shapes and sizes is a simple luxury you'll always be grateful for. Perhaps the most versatile hand tool of all, however, is a good pair of tongs. Think of them as a heat-proof extension of your hands. You'll use them for everything: flipping chicken breasts in a skillet, turning sausages, gently tossing vegetables as they roast, pulling a piece of pasta from boiling water to test for doneness, and even reaching into the oven to adjust something without pulling the whole rack out. Look for a sturdy pair of 12-inch stainless steel tongs that have a reliable locking mechanism for easy storage. Models with scalloped, silicone-tipped ends are fantastic, as they provide a secure grip on food and won't scratch your non-stick cookware. Now, let's move from the stove to the mixing bowl. While a spoon can stir, a whisk incorporates air. For light and fluffy scrambled eggs, smooth and creamy sauces, or perfectly emulsified vinaigrettes, a whisk is essential. The most common type is a balloon whisk, which has a large, rounded shape perfect for whipping cream or egg whites in a bowl. It's a great all-purpose choice. Paired with your whisk is another kind of spatula, the silicone scraper. This is the flexible tool designed to perfectly scrape the sides of a mixing bowl, ensuring no batter goes to waste. It's also brilliant for folding delicate ingredients, like whipped cream, into a batter. When shopping for one, look for a model made from a single piece of silicone. Two-piece spatulas, where the head pulls off the handle, can trap water and food particles, making them difficult to truly get clean. A one-piece design is more hygienic and durable. Once you've mixed or cooked your food, you often need to separate liquid from solids. This is where a good strainer comes in. While a large-footed colander is great for draining a big pot of pasta, a more versatile tool is a medium-sized, fine mesh sieve. You can use it to drain pasta or wash vegetables, but you can also use it for more delicate tasks. A fine mesh sieve is perfect for rinsing small grains like quinoa, for sifting flour to make a cake lighter, for dusting powdered sugar over a dessert, or for creating a silky smooth soup by straining out any solids. It does everything a colander can, and so much more. Finally, let's cover a few small but indispensable prep gadgets. First, a high-quality vegetable peeler. A dull, ineffective peeler is frustrating and can be dangerous. Many professional chefs swear by the Y-peeler design. It has a horizontal blade and a wide handle that gives you more control and makes the peeling motion feel more natural and efficient. It's a small upgrade that makes a world of difference when prepping potatoes or carrots. Next, you absolutely need a reliable can opener. This is not a place to skimp on quality. A flimsy can opener that struggles to latch on or leaves sharp, jagged edges is a genuine pain. You don't need a fancy electric model. A sturdy, manual can opener with a comfortable, ergonomic grip will serve you well for years. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of a good pair of kitchen shears. These are not your office scissors. They are heavy-duty tools designed for kitchen tasks. Use them to snip fresh herbs, trim fat from meat, cut up bacon, or even break down an entire chicken. Their biggest advantage is control and safety. It's often much easier and safer to cut something like raw chicken with shears than with a knife. Look for a pair that separates into two pieces, which allows for thorough washing and drying to prevent rust and bacteria buildup. So, let's take a look at our newly stocked utensil drawer. With a set of tongs, a couple of spatulas, wooden spoons, a whisk, a silicone scraper, a fine mesh strainer, a Y-peeler, a can opener, and dedicated kitchen shears, you have a team of specialists ready to tackle any task. Having these quality tools within arm's reach is what makes the process of cooking feel fluid and seamless. We've now covered a wide range of essential kitchen hardware. In the next chapter, we'll shift our focus to kitchen tech and maintenance. We'll explore items like the digital scale that guarantees baking perfection and the simple tools needed to keep your most important accessory, your chef's knife, in peak condition. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. Over the last 5 chapters, we have assembled an impressive collection of physical tools, from the knife that starts every meal to the pans that cook it and the utensils that handle it. We've built a strong, tangible foundation. Today, we're going to elevate that foundation with a touch of modern precision and a focus on long-term preservation. This chapter is dedicated to the essential kitchen technology that eliminates guesswork, and to the simple maintenance that protects your most valuable investment. Let's begin with a piece of technology that will fundamentally change your baking and make all your cooking more consistent: the digital kitchen scale. In the United States, we are accustomed to measuring dry ingredients by volume, using our trusty measuring cups. But here's a fact that might surprise you. Measuring by volume is inherently inaccurate. A cup of flour, for example, can vary in weight by 20% or more depending on whether it's been sifted, spooned into the cup, or scooped and packed. This variability is the #1 reason why a cake or bread recipe might work perfectly one day and fail the next. A digital scale removes that uncertainty. Weight is absolute. 120 grams of flour is always 120 grams of flour. When you start measuring by weight, you achieve perfect, repeatable results every single time. It's the secret to bakery-quality goods at home. But the benefits don't stop there. A scale simplifies cleanup. Instead of dirtying multiple measuring cups, you can place your mixing bowl on the scale. Use the tare function to zero out the weight, add your first ingredient, hit tare again, and add the next. It's faster, cleaner, and more accurate. When you're looking for a digital scale, there are a few key features to look for. First and foremost is that tare, or zero, function. Second, make sure it can easily switch between grams and ounces, as you'll encounter recipes that use both. Look for a scale with a capacity of at least 11 pounds, or 5 kilograms, which is more than enough for most home cooking tasks. And finally, choose one with a flat, seamless surface that's easy to wipe clean. A good digital scale is an inexpensive tool that will pay you back tenfold in consistency and confidence. Our next piece of essential tech also replaces guesswork with certainty: the instant read digital thermometer. How many times have you cut into a piece of chicken, hoping it's cooked through? Or sliced into a beautiful steak, only to find it's overdone? An instant read thermometer puts an end to that anxiety. It is the only way to know for sure that your meat has reached a safe internal temperature and is cooked exactly to your liking. No more dry chicken breasts or gray, overcooked roasts. Its usefulness extends far beyond meat. You can use it to check the temperature of oil for deep frying, ensuring crispy, not greasy, results. You can use it to check the temperature of water to ensure it's in the perfect range to activate yeast for bread making. It's also crucial for more advanced techniques like candy making or brewing coffee. When buying one, the key feature is speed. You want a thermometer that gives you an accurate reading in just 2 to 4 seconds. A backlit digital display is a fantastic feature for reading it in a dim oven, and a thin probe tip will leave a minimal puncture mark in your food. This small device is one of the most powerful tools for improving the quality and safety of your cooking. Now, having discussed modern technology, let's turn our attention to maintaining the most important traditional tool in our kitchen, the one we started with back in Chapter 1. Let's talk about caring for your chef's knife. A sharp knife is a safe knife, and keeping it that way requires understanding the crucial difference between two words: honing and sharpening. Many people use them interchangeably, but they are completely different processes. Honing is a maintenance task you should do frequently, perhaps even every time you use your knife. During normal use, the microscopic edge of your knife's blade gets knocked out of alignment, making it feel dull. A honing steel, that long metal rod that often comes in a knife block, doesn't actually sharpen the knife. Instead, it realigns that edge, straightening it back into a perfect line. Honing keeps a sharp knife performing at its peak. To do it safely, hold the steel vertically with the tip resting on your cutting board. Then, holding your knife at about a 15 to 20 degree angle, gently swipe the blade down the steel from heel to tip, alternating sides for about 5 to 6 strokes each. It takes just 10 seconds but makes a world of difference. Sharpening, on the other hand, is a process of removing a tiny amount of metal from the blade to create a brand new, sharp edge. This is something you only need to do once or twice a year, depending on how often you cook. You'll know it's time when honing no longer seems to be effective. For the home cook, there are several options. Traditional whetstones offer the best results but have a steep learning curve. Electric or manual pull-through sharpeners are much easier to use, though they can be more aggressive on the blade. And there's no shame in using a professional sharpening service. It's an easy and effective way to have your knives perfectly serviced by an expert. So, let's recap. By adding 2 key pieces of technology, a digital scale for accuracy and an instant read thermometer for safety and perfection, you elevate the precision of your kitchen. And by understanding and practicing regular honing, you preserve the function of your most essential tool. These are the steps that take a kitchen from simply being well-equipped to being a truly high-performing workspace. In our next chapter, we'll step back from the tools and turn our attention to the ingredients themselves. We'll tackle the challenge of keeping our food fresh and our kitchen orderly as we explore the world of food storage solutions and pantry organization. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. So far in our journey, we have meticulously selected the tools that help us chop, measure, cook, and bake. We've even explored the technology that brings precision to our craft. But a well-equipped kitchen is about more than just the tools you use during the cooking process. It's also about the systems you have in place before you even begin and after the meal is over. In this chapter, we turn our attention to the ingredients themselves. We're going to tackle the challenge of keeping food fresh, minimizing waste, and creating an orderly kitchen through smart storage and organization. Think for a moment about the frustration of a disorganized kitchen. It's the feeling of rummaging through a cupboard to find 3 half-empty boxes of the same pasta. It's pulling a mystery container from the back of the freezer, with no idea what's inside or when it's from. A disorganized kitchen not only creates stress, but it also leads to food waste and costs you money. The accessories we'll talk about today are designed to solve these problems, creating a calm, efficient, and cost-effective environment. Let's begin where most of our non-perishable ingredients live, the pantry. The key to a functional pantry is visibility and accessibility. The enemy is the collection of half-open, crinkly bags of flour, sugar, and rice that spill easily and do little to protect their contents. The solution is a set of clear, airtight food storage containers. Decanting your dry goods, like flour, sugar, oats, pasta, beans, and nuts, into these containers is a transformative step. First, the airtight seal protects your food from air, moisture, and pantry pests, keeping it fresher for much, much longer. Second, because the containers are clear, you can see at a glance exactly what you have and how much is left. This prevents you from buying a new bag of brown sugar when you already have one tucked away in the back of a cabinet. When shopping for these, look for a modular and stackable design. This allows you to use your vertical space efficiently, creating a neat, tidy, and surprisingly spacious pantry. Whether you choose high-quality BPA-free plastic or elegant glass jars, this system will completely change the way you manage your dry goods. And while you're at it, consider a simple solution for your spices, like a small turntable, often called a lazy Susan, or a drawer insert. This will bring all your spices into view, so you're not digging for the cumin every time you want to make chili. Next, let's conquer the cold and move to the refrigerator and freezer. The principles here are the same: visibility and preservation. In the refrigerator, simple clear bins can be a game changer. Use them to group like items together. One bin for yogurts, another for cheeses, another for condiments. This prevents things from getting lost in the back and makes it easy to pull out everything you need at once. For produce, you might consider specialized containers, often called produce savers, which are designed with vents and trays to regulate humidity and airflow, extending the life of your fresh fruits and vegetables. In the freezer, your most valuable accessory is the humble zip-top freezer bag. They are far more durable than standard sandwich bags and are designed to protect food from the harsh, dry environment of the freezer. Their real magic, however, is in how they save space. You can fill them with soups, stews, or ground meat, press out as much air as possible to prevent freezer burn, and lay them flat on a baking sheet to freeze. Once solid, these flat, stackable bricks of food take up a fraction of the space of bulky containers. But none of this matters without the most critical freezer accessory of all: a permanent marker and some masking tape or freezer labels. Get into the habit of labeling every single item that goes into your freezer with 2 pieces of information: what it is, and the date it was frozen. This simple 5-second habit will put an end to the mystery meal and ensure you're eating food when it's still at its best. Finally, let's talk about managing the delicious results of your cooking, leftovers, and meal prep. For this, you need a quality set of food storage containers. Here, the big debate is often glass versus plastic. Glass containers are the gold standard for food storage. They are non-porous, which means they will never stain or absorb odors. Your container won't smell like last week's curry when you want to store a fruit salad. Most can go from the freezer to the microwave, and many can even go into the oven without the lid. They are incredibly durable and will last for years. Their only downsides are that they are heavier than plastic and can, of course, break if dropped. Plastic containers are lightweight, portable, and generally less expensive, making them a great choice for packing lunches for work or school. However, they can stain, especially with tomato-based sauces, and can sometimes hold onto strong odors. When choosing plastic, always ensure it is labeled as BPA-free. For most households, the ideal solution is a combination of both. Invest in a core set of high-quality glass containers with airtight, leak-proof lids for your home storage needs. Then, supplement that with a few lightweight plastic containers for when you need to take food on the go. In summary, a well-organized kitchen is a peaceful and efficient kitchen. By using clear, airtight containers in your pantry, leveraging smart storage in your fridge and freezer, and investing in a great set of containers for your leftovers, you will save time, save money, and waste less food. Now that our kitchen is equipped and organized, there's one more category of essential items to discuss. In our next chapter, we'll shift our focus to the unsung heroes of the kitchen, the textiles. From the towels that clean our messes to the aprons that protect our clothes, we'll explore the world of essential kitchen linens. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. We have journeyed through the hardscape of a well-run kitchen, selecting our essential hardware, embracing precision technology, and creating systems for smart organization. Today, we're shifting our focus to the softer side of the kitchen. We're talking about the unsung heroes that are often overlooked but are absolutely critical for safety, cleanliness, and even a bit of comfort: the essential kitchen linens. These are the textiles that protect you, clean your messes, and handle the heat, proving that not all kitchen tools are made of metal or plastic. Let's begin with your first line of defense against spills and splatters: the apron. For some, an apron might seem old-fashioned, but its utility is timeless. A good apron is a shield for your clothes, protecting them from rogue splashes of olive oil, puffs of flour, or splatters of tomato sauce. More than that, it becomes part of your kitchen uniform. It's a convenient place to wipe your hands in a hurry when you can't get to the sink. Many aprons come with large pockets, which are incredibly handy for holding a pen for marking recipes, your instant read thermometer, or your phone. When shopping for an apron, look for a durable and easily washable fabric like a sturdy cotton, canvas, or denim blend. The most important features for comfort are an adjustable neck strap and long waist ties that can be tied in the back or wrapped around to the front. A comfortable apron is one you'll actually wear, and it's a simple accessory that keeps you clean and prepared. Next, we move to one of the most important categories for kitchen safety: the tools for handling heat. I'm talking about oven mitts and pot holders. Let me start with a crucial piece of advice: never ever use a damp or wet kitchen towel to grab something hot from the oven or stove. Water is an excellent conductor of heat, and the moisture in the towel will instantly turn to steam, which can cause a very serious burn. This is a job exclusively for dry, purpose-built oven mitts and pot holders. Oven mitts are designed to give you maximum protection, especially when reaching deep into a hot oven. They cover your entire hand and wrist, shielding you from hot surfaces. Look for a pair with thick, insulated padding. Many modern mitts feature a combination of quilted cotton for flexibility and a silicone exterior for a secure, non-slip grip. Make sure they are long enough to protect your forearms and that they are machine washable, because they will eventually get dirty. Pot holders are the nimble cousins of oven mitts. They are typically thick, square pads that are perfect for grabbing the hot handles of pots and pans on the stovetop, moving a hot dish a short distance, or acting as a trivet to protect your countertops and dining table from a searing hot pan. It's a great idea to have several of these on hand. Look for ones made of thick cotton or silicone, and a small loop for hanging them on a hook is always a convenient feature. The ideal setup is to have both: a reliable pair of oven mitts for heavy-duty oven work, and a few easily accessible pot holders for quick grabs and surface protection. Now, let's talk about the true workhorse of all kitchen textiles: the kitchen towel. It's important to understand that not all towels are created equal, and for maximum efficiency, it's best to have a system with different towels for different jobs. First, you need your absorbent dish towels. These are the towels you use for drying your clean hands, or the few dishes you choose to hand wash. The best material for this job is 100% cotton, especially in a terry cloth or waffle weave. These textures create more surface area, making them highly absorbent. It's a good practice to have a dedicated hook just for your hand-drying towel to keep it clean and separate from other kitchen tasks. Next, you need a stack of utility towels. Think of these as your mess towels or bar mops. These are the towels you grab to wipe up a spill on the floor, clean your countertops, or dry off produce. You don't want to use the same towel you dry your hands with to wipe up raw chicken juice. Utility towels are typically made of simple, durable cotton, and you can buy them in large, inexpensive multi-packs. They are built to be tough, to be washed often, and even to be bleached if necessary. Finally, there is a secret weapon in the world of kitchen towels: the flour sack towel. These are large, thin, and made from tightly woven cotton. Their superpower is that they are completely lint-free. This makes them the absolute best choice for drying and polishing glassware and silverware without leaving any annoying streaks or lint behind. They are also incredibly versatile. Their lightweight nature makes them perfect for covering a bowl of rising bread dough, for gently wringing excess moisture from greens, or even for straining liquids in a pinch. A quick note on paper towels. In a modern American kitchen, they certainly have their place. They are the best choice for soaking up grease, for cleaning up messes involving raw meat to prevent cross-contamination, and for any other spill you wouldn't want to put in your washing machine. A sustainable approach is to use your reusable cloth towels for the vast majority of tasks and reserve paper towels for those specific, heavy-duty situations. So, let's look at our fully outfitted kitchen linen collection: a comfortable apron, a protective pair of oven mitts and a few pot holders, and a smart system of towels: absorbent ones for drying, utility ones for cleaning, and lint-free ones for polishing. Together, they create a safer, cleaner, and more efficient kitchen environment. We've now covered a huge range of essential manual tools and accessories. In our next chapter, we're going to plug in and power up. We'll explore the world of small electrics, starting with two powerhouse appliances that revolutionize food preparation: the food processor and the blender. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. We've spent the last chapter getting comfortable with the soft goods of the kitchen, from aprons to towels. Now, as promised, it's time to plug in and power up. We are officially entering the world of small electric appliances, the countertop assistants that can save you an incredible amount of time and manual effort. In this chapter, we're focusing on two absolute powerhouses of food preparation, the food processor and the blender. Now, these two machines are often confused with one another, and many people wonder if they really need both. The short answer is yes, because they perform fundamentally different tasks. Think of them not as competitors, but as specialists on the same team. A food processor is your prep workhorse, and a blender is your liquefying specialist. Understanding that distinction is the key to unlocking their full potential. Let's start with the ultimate time saver for prep, the food processor. The main job of a food processor is to perform tedious, labor-intensive tasks in seconds. It uses a flat, razor-sharp S-shaped blade that spins at high speed to chop, mince, and mix solid or semi-solid foods. It also comes with attachments, typically a shredding disc and a slicing disc. This is the machine you bring out when a recipe calls for a mountain of chopped vegetables or a block of shredded cheese. What can you do with it? You can chop onions, carrots, and celery for a soup base in under 10 seconds. You can grate a whole block of cheddar cheese for macaroni and cheese in a fraction of the time it would take to do by hand. It can make a perfect, flaky pie crust or pasta dough with minimal effort, keeping the butter cold and the texture just right. It's brilliant for making smooth, creamy hummus, vibrant pesto, or your own fresh nut butters. You can even use it to turn stale bread into fresh breadcrumbs. It is, in essence, a tireless sous chef that never gets bored of chopping. When you're choosing a food processor, size matters. While smaller models exist, a 9 to 14 cup capacity is the sweet spot for most families. It's large enough to handle a double batch of pie dough or shred vegetables for a crowd. You also want a powerful motor that won't strain under a heavy load. Look for a model with a wide feed tube, which allows you to drop in larger pieces of food, like half an onion or a whole potato, saving you even more prep time. And don't be swayed by a dozen complex buttons. All you really need are 3 simple controls: on, off, and pulse. Now, let's turn our attention to its partner on the counter, the blender. Where a food processor uses a sharp blade to chop solids, a blender uses relatively duller blades that spin at an incredibly high velocity to create a powerful vortex. This vortex pulls ingredients down, pulverizing them and transforming them into a liquid. A blender's greatest strength is creating a perfectly smooth, silky texture, something a food processor simply cannot do. It requires a good amount of liquid to work effectively. The most common use for a blender, of course, is making smoothies and protein shakes. It can effortlessly break down fibrous greens like spinach and kale, frozen fruit, and ice into a smooth, drinkable consistency. But its talents go far beyond breakfast. A blender is the key to creating velvety pureed soups. You can transform roasted vegetables and broth into a restaurant-quality butternut squash or tomato soup. It's also fantastic for making smooth sauces, salad dressings, and marinades. And of course, it's the go-to appliance for crushing ice to make frozen cocktails and slushies. There are a few different types of blenders. The standard countertop blender is good for most basic tasks. Then you have high-powered blenders, from brands like Vitamix or Blendtec. These are a significant investment, but they are in a league of their own, capable of pulverizing just about anything into a perfectly smooth liquid. They can even make hot soup right in the pitcher, using only the friction from their incredibly fast blades. Lastly, there's the immersion or stick blender, which is a handheld wand that lets you blend a soup right in the pot, saving a lot of cleanup. We'll touch more on that specialized tool in a later chapter. So, let's bring it all together. The simplest way to remember the difference is this: a food processor is for chopping and prepping. A blender is for liquefying. You would use a food processor to make a chunky salsa, but you would use a blender to make a smooth enchilada sauce. They are two distinct tools that, together, cover nearly every texture you could want to create in your kitchen. We've just covered 2 of the most important countertop prep appliances. In our next chapter, we'll delve into another countertop icon, one of the most coveted small electrics of all. Join me as we explore the stand mixer, and we'll find out what makes it a baker's best friend and a powerful tool for so much more. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. In our last chapter, we plugged in our powerhouse prep assistants, the food processor and the blender. Today, we're continuing our tour of essential countertop electrics by focusing on what is arguably the most coveted and iconic appliance in the modern American kitchen, the stand mixer. For many, the stand mixer is more than just a machine. It's a statement. A colorful stand mixer sitting on the counter signifies a home where cooking and baking are taken seriously and joyfully. But it's not just about looks. A stand mixer is a heavy-duty investment in power, efficiency, and versatility that will fundamentally change the way you approach baking, and so much more. So, what is it that makes a stand mixer so special? Why choose one over a simple hand mixer or a wooden spoon? The answer lies in two key advantages: its powerful motor and its hands-free operation. A stand mixer's robust motor can handle tasks that would quickly exhaust your arm or burn out a lesser machine. And because it works independently, your hands are free to precisely measure and add ingredients, scrape down the bowl, or even start cleaning up. This combination of power and freedom is what makes it a true game changer. To truly understand the magic of a stand mixer, we need to get to know its three primary attachments, which come standard with nearly every model. First, let's talk about the workhorse attachment, the flat beater, which is also called a paddle. This is the attachment you will use for the majority of your mixing tasks. The flat beater is designed to thoroughly mix, stir, and cream ingredients. It's the tool you'll use to cream together butter and sugar until they are light and fluffy, which is the essential first step for most cookie and cake recipes. It's perfect for mixing batters for brownies, quick breads, and pancakes. You'll use it to make frostings, dips, and even meatballs. A popular modern trick is to use the paddle attachment to shred cooked chicken or pork. In just a minute, it can turn chicken breasts into perfectly shredded meat for tacos or sandwiches, a task that would take ages with 2 forks. Next up is the attachment that saves the most manual labor, the dough hook. This C-shaped or spiral hook is designed to mimic the pushing and folding motion of kneading dough by hand. This is where the powerful motor of a stand mixer truly shines. It can take a shaggy mass of flour, water, and yeast and knead it for 10 to 12 minutes until it becomes a smooth, elastic, and perfectly developed dough for bread, pizza, or cinnamon rolls. It does all the hard work without breaking a sweat, allowing you to create bakery-quality bread at home with incredible ease. For anyone who loves to bake bread, the dough hook alone makes a stand mixer worth the investment. Finally, we have the wire whip, or whisk attachment. While a hand whisk is great for small jobs, the stand mixer's wire whip is designed to incorporate a massive amount of air into light ingredients. This is the tool for creating volume and lightness. You'll use it to whip egg whites into glossy, stiff peaks for meringues, macarons, or soufflés. It can turn a bowl of cold, heavy cream into luscious, fluffy whipped cream in just a couple of minutes. It's also perfect for making airy angel food cake, homemade marshmallows, or light and fluffy boiled icings. These are tasks that are incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to do by hand. When you're ready to choose a stand mixer, you'll generally find 2 main styles. The tilt head models are the most common for home use. The top part of the mixer hinges back, allowing you to easily access the bowl and attachments. They typically come with a 4.5 or 5-quart bowl, which is a perfect size for most recipes. The bowl lift models are larger and more powerful. On these, the bowl sits on 2 arms and is cranked up into position. These are favored by very avid bakers who frequently make large, heavy batches of bread dough. For the vast majority of American kitchens, a 5-quart tilt head model is the perfect choice. And here's one final feature that makes the stand mixer so valuable: the power hub. It's that small, silver circle on the very front of the mixer head. This is a port that allows you to connect a huge range of optional attachments, transforming your mixer into a multi-function kitchen powerhouse. You can add attachments to make fresh pasta, grind your own meat, stuff sausages, spiralize vegetables, or even make ice cream. This expandability is why a stand mixer isn't just an appliance. It's a kitchen system that can grow with you as your culinary skills and interests evolve. In summary, the stand mixer is a worthy centerpiece for any serious kitchen. It offers hands-free power that makes mixing, kneading, and whipping effortless, and it opens the door to a world of new culinary possibilities. Now that we've covered the big 3 countertop electrics, what's next? In our next chapter, we'll explore the world of countertop cookers and brewers, from the humble toaster to the multi-talented pressure cooker, and of course, the machines that power our mornings with essential, delicious coffee. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. We've spent the last few chapters exploring the electric-powered assistants that help us with the heavy lifting of prep and mixing. Now, we're turning our attention to the countertop appliances that perform specific cooking and brewing tasks, the machines that make our mornings run a little smoother and our weeknight dinners come together a little faster. This chapter is all about countertop convenience. Let's start with the machine that for millions of Americans is the most important appliance of all, the coffee maker. The morning coffee ritual is sacred in many homes, and having a quality setup can save you a significant amount of money and time compared to daily trips to the coffee shop. The most common choice in American kitchens is the automatic drip coffee maker. It's a classic for a reason. It's simple, efficient, and can brew enough for the whole household. When you're choosing one, don't assume they are all the same. For the best tasting coffee, look for a model that is certified by the Specialty Coffee Association, or SCA. This certification guarantees the machine can reach and maintain the optimal brewing temperature, between 195 and 205 degrees Fahrenheit, which is crucial for proper flavor extraction. Another key feature to look for is a thermal carafe instead of a glass one that sits on a hot plate. That hot plate continues to cook the coffee, making it taste bitter and burnt over time. A thermal carafe simply keeps your coffee hot through insulation, preserving its flavor for hours. Of course, we have to mention the single-serve pod brewer. Its popularity is built on two things: incredible speed and convenience. For a household where everyone drinks a different type of coffee or is on a different schedule, it can be a perfect solution. The trade-offs, however, are a higher cost per cup and the significant environmental impact of the disposable pods. Ultimately, the best choice depends on your household's priorities. Next, let's move to the toasting corner. Here you have two main options: the traditional pop-up toaster and the more versatile toaster oven. The pop-up toaster is a specialist. It is designed to do one job: toast slices of bread, bagels, and English muffins, and do it very well. If that's all you need, a good toaster is a great space-saving choice. Look for one with extra wide slots to accommodate thick-cut bread and bagels, and a specific bagel setting, which cleverly toasts only the cut side while gently warming the back. However, if you have the counter space, I strongly recommend a toaster oven. A toaster oven is a miniature, efficient version of your main oven. It can do everything a pop-up toaster can, but its abilities go so much further. It's perfect for melting cheese on toast, reheating a slice of pizza to crispy perfection, something a microwave can never do, or baking a couple of cookies when you don't want to heat up the entire house. You can use it to roast a small batch of asparagus, broil a single fish fillet, or toast nuts without the risk of burning them in a large oven. Because of its smaller size, it preheats much faster and uses far less energy than your main oven, making it an incredibly practical and efficient tool for small-scale cooking tasks. Finally, let's talk about the appliance that has revolutionized the weeknight dinner: the electric multi-cooker, popularly known by the brand name that started it all, the Instant Pot. This single appliance is a modern workhorse. It combines the functions of a pressure cooker, a slow cooker, a rice cooker, a yogurt maker, and more into one convenient device. Its primary superpower is pressure cooking. By cooking food in a sealed environment under high pressure, it raises the boiling point of water, allowing food to cook in a fraction of the time it would normally take. Tough cuts of meat that would typically need to simmer for hours become fall-apart tender in about 60 minutes. You can cook dried beans from scratch in under an hour with no overnight soaking required. It's fantastic for making rich and flavorful soups, stews, and chilies on a busy schedule. Because it's an all-in-one device, you can sauté your aromatics, pressure cook your main ingredients, and keep the meal warm, all in the same pot. It saves time, saves energy, and saves you from washing multiple pots and pans. So let's review the convenient countertop cookers we've added to our kitchen. We have a quality coffee maker to start our day off right, a versatile toaster oven for quick and efficient small batch cooking, and a multi-cooker that makes flavorful weeknight meals a reality, even on the busiest of days. We've covered a wide array of essential, everyday tools and appliances. In our next chapter, we're going to explore a collection of specialty tools. These are items that you might not use every single day, but for the specific tasks they are designed for, they are absolutely invaluable. Join me as we look at the tools that can take your cooking from great to truly special. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. We have spent the last 11 chapters building the perfect foundation for a functional, efficient, and modern American kitchen. We have the core tools for prepping, the essential cookware for the stove and oven, and the countertop electrics that save us time and energy. Now that our foundation is solid, it's time to build upon it. This chapter is dedicated to the specialty tools, the items you might not reach for every single day, but for the specific tasks they perform, they are absolutely game-changing. These are the accessories that elevate your cooking from great to truly special. Let's begin with a simple, non-electric tool that will forever change the way you eat salads: the salad spinner. We've all experienced a disappointing salad. The greens are a bit limp and watery, and the dressing pools at the bottom of the bowl instead of clinging to the leaves. The problem isn't the lettuce or the dressing, it's excess water. Washing your greens is essential, but drying them properly is the secret to a crisp, restaurant-quality salad. A salad spinner is the perfect tool for this job. It uses a simple mechanism, usually a pump or a crank, to spin a basket of washed greens at high speed. This centrifugal force whisks water away from the leaves without crushing or bruising them. The result is perfectly dry, crisp greens. And why is that so important? Because salad dressing adheres beautifully to dry leaves. This means you get a perfectly coated, flavorful salad with every bite, and you can often use less dressing overall. A salad spinner is also more versatile than you might think. You can use the basket as a colander for rinsing berries and delicate herbs, and the outer bowl can double as a handsome serving bowl. When shopping for one, look for a sturdy model with a non-slip base and a reliable spinning mechanism. It's a surprisingly effective tool for a very common kitchen task. Next, let's talk about a tool that adds a huge burst of flavor with minimal effort, the microplane grater, or zester. This tool was originally invented as a wood rasp for carpenters, but chefs quickly discovered its incredible culinary potential. Unlike a traditional box grater which can tear and shred, a microplane has razor-sharp, photo-etched blades that effortlessly shave ingredients. Its number one job in the kitchen is zesting citrus. It glides over the surface of a lemon, lime, or orange, removing only the fragrant, oil-rich zest and leaving the bitter white pith behind. That zest adds an incredible aromatic brightness to everything from salad dressings and marinades to cakes and cocktails. But its talents don't stop there. A microplane is the best tool for creating fluffy, lacy clouds of hard cheese, like Parmesan or Pecorino Romano. This delicate texture melts instantly into hot pasta or soup and provides a light, even coating over a finished dish. You can also use it to grate fresh ginger and garlic, turning the fibrous roots into a fine paste that dissolves into your cooking. It's also perfect for grating whole spices like nutmeg or a bit of chocolate for a beautiful garnish on a dessert. This long, slender tool is one of the best examples of a small gadget with a massive impact on flavor. Now let's plug in a tool we briefly mentioned before, but which deserves its own spotlight for its sheer convenience: the immersion or stick blender. In a previous chapter, we discussed the power of a countertop blender for liquefying ingredients. The immersion blender is its nimble, handheld cousin. Its superpower is that it brings the blender to the food, not the other way around. Its primary purpose is to puree soups and sauces directly in the pot they were cooked in. This means you no longer have to perform the often messy and dangerous task of transferring batches of hot liquid into a traditional blender pitcher. You simply submerge the blending wand into your pot of cooked vegetables and broth, and in less than a minute, you have a silky, velvety smooth soup. The convenience is unbeatable, and the reduction in cleanup is a huge bonus. You can also use it for smaller tasks, like making a small batch of mayonnaise or aioli in a simple glass jar, blending a single serving smoothie directly in your cup, or even making a quick batch of whipped cream. Look for a model that has a detachable blending shaft that is dishwasher safe, making cleanup practically effortless. Finally, let's talk about bringing the flavor of the outdoors, indoors, with a cast iron grill pan. This is essentially a heavy cast iron skillet, but with raised ridges across the cooking surface. These ridges lift your food up off the flat bottom of the pan, allowing fat to drip away and creating those beautiful, characteristic grill marks. It's the perfect tool for grilling a steak, chicken breast, or burger indoors on a rainy day or during the colder months. It also works wonderfully for vegetables like asparagus, zucchini planks, and bell peppers, giving them a delicious char and smoky flavor that you can't get from a regular pan. These specialty tools, the salad spinner, the microplane, the immersion blender, and the grill pan, are the supporting cast that can make your culinary creations shine. They solve common problems and open up new possibilities, making the process of cooking even more rewarding. We've explored tools for prepping and cooking. In our next chapter, we'll move from the countertop to the table. Join me as we explore the essentials for serving and enjoying your culinary creations, from classic dinnerware to the right wine glass. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. We have spent a dozen chapters together, carefully selecting the tools to transform raw ingredients into a delicious meal. We've chopped, mixed, cooked, baked, and brewed. Now, we arrive at the final, crucial step in the culinary journey, the presentation. The effort and care you put into your cooking deserve to be honored at the table. In this chapter, we move from the kitchen to the dining room to explore the essentials of serving and dinnerware, the items that turn a simple meal into a memorable experience. Setting a thoughtful table isn't about rigid formality, it's about creating an atmosphere of warmth and hospitality. It's a sign of respect for the food you've made and the people you are sharing it with. Let's start with the foundation of any table setting, the dinnerware. In the past, many households had two sets of dishes, the durable, everyday set and the fancy good china that only came out for major holidays. The modern approach is much more practical. We recommend investing in one high-quality, versatile set of dinnerware that you love enough to use every day, but that is also elegant enough for a special occasion. When it comes to materials, you'll find a few common choices. Earthenware and stoneware have a rustic, heavier feel, but they can be more prone to chipping. The sweet spot for durability and elegance is porcelain. Fired at very high temperatures, porcelain is strong, chip-resistant, and non-porous. A step above that is bone china, which is a type of porcelain that includes bone ash in its composition, making it incredibly strong, lightweight, and translucent. For the best combination of durability and value, a great set of porcelain dinnerware is a fantastic choice for most homes. The most important advice I can give you is to choose a neutral color, like classic white, cream, or a soft gray. Food always looks its most vibrant and appealing against a simple, clean backdrop. A white plate is a blank canvas that allows the colors of your cooking to be the star of the show. You can always add pops of color with napkins, placemats, or flowers. When you purchase your set, aim for a service for at least 8, or even 12 if you entertain often. And be sure to choose a pattern that is open stock, which means you can buy individual replacement pieces if a plate or bowl ever breaks. Next, let's discuss the tools we use to enjoy the meal, the flatware. Often called silverware, even though it's almost always made of stainless steel, your flatware is the accessory you interact with most intimately during a meal. The key here is feel and balance. Look for flatware that has a comfortable heft and weight in your hand. It shouldn't feel flimsy or cheap. The material to look for is 18/10 stainless steel. You'll see this number on the packaging. It means the steel is made with 18% chromium for rust resistance and 10% nickel, which adds luster, shine, and extra durability. It's a sign of high-quality flatware that will look great for years. A standard 5-piece place setting includes a dinner fork, a smaller salad fork, a dinner knife, a larger soup spoon, and a smaller teaspoon. As with your dinnerware, a simple, timeless design will serve you better in the long run than something overly trendy. Finally, let's talk about what you'll drink from, the glassware or drinkware. For everyday use, every home needs a durable set of tumblers. These are your workhorse glasses for water, iced tea, juice, or milk. It's helpful to have 2 sizes, a taller 16-ounce glass and a shorter 12-ounce glass, often called a rocks glass. A simple, clean design is best, and look for glasses made of sturdy glass that can stand up to daily use and the dishwasher. When it comes to wine, the sheer number of glass shapes can be intimidating. There's a specific glass for nearly every type of wine imaginable. But for most homes, this is entirely unnecessary. All you really need is one set of good, universal wine glasses. A universal glass is designed to work well for both red and white wines. It will have a bowl that's large enough to allow red wines to breathe and a gentle taper toward the rim to help concentrate the delicate aromas of white wines. When choosing, look for a glass with a relatively thin rim, as it feels more elegant to drink from than a thick, clunky one. Having a nice set of universal wine glasses makes any evening feel a little more special, whether you're enjoying a bottle with dinner or celebrating an occasion. So, let's step back and look at our beautifully set table. With a versatile set of neutral porcelain plates, a well-balanced collection of 1810 stainless steel flatware, and simple, elegant glassware for both water and wine, you have created a welcoming stage for your culinary creations. These are the final touches that complete the journey from kitchen to table and elevate the simple act of eating into the joyful art of dining. We've now cooked the meal and set the table. There's only one part of the process left. In our next chapter, we'll tackle the inevitable final step of every meal, the cleanup. We'll explore the essential tools and strategies that make washing up less of a chore. Thank you for listening. Welcome back to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. We have cooked a wonderful meal and enjoyed it at a beautifully set table. Now, we face the inevitable final act of every culinary creation, the cleanup. For many, this is the least glamorous part of the cooking process, but it doesn't have to be a dreaded chore. With the right tools, a smart strategy, and the right mindset, cleanup can be a quick, efficient, and even satisfying process. It's the act of resetting your creative space, preparing it for your next adventure. This chapter is dedicated to mastering the art of the cleanup. Let's begin at the sink, with the essentials for hand washing. Even if you have a dishwasher, some of your most valuable tools must be washed by hand. This includes your high-quality chef's knife, your wooden cutting boards and spoons, any cast-iron cookware, most non-stick pans, and delicate glassware. Your first essential is a high-quality, grease-cutting dish soap. A concentrated formula means you only need a small amount to create effective suds, so a good bottle will last you a long time. Next, you need the right tools for scrubbing. The classic choice is a sponge, and a dual-sided model with a soft side for general cleaning and a scouring side for tougher jobs is very versatile. However, sponges can harbor bacteria, so it's crucial to sanitize them every couple of days, either in your dishwasher or by dampening and microwaving them for a minute, and you should replace them frequently. A more hygienic and durable alternative is a dish brush or a soap dispensing dish wand. They dry much faster than sponges, and the handle keeps your hands out of the mess. For those really stubborn, baked-on messes on bakeware or casseroles, a small, hard plastic pan scraper is a miracle worker, removing burnt food without scratching your surfaces. Once your items are clean, they need a place to dry. This is where a good dish rack comes in. Even if you only hand wash a few items a day, a dedicated drying space is a must. You have several options: a classic countertop rack with a drain board, a space-saving rack that fits inside one basin of your sink, or a modern, roll-up rack that sits over your sink, allowing water to drip directly down the drain. Pairing your rack with a super-absorbent microfiber drying mat can also protect your counter and catch any extra drips. Now, let's move to the most powerful cleanup machine in the kitchen, the dishwasher. To get the best results, you need to understand how it works. And that starts with answering the great debate: to rinse or not to rinse? The answer for any modern dishwasher is: do not pre-rinse your dishes. Modern dishwashers and high-quality detergents are engineered to handle food soil. In fact, they have sensors that detect how dirty your dishes are. If you pre-rinse them, the sensor may run a lighter, less effective cycle. All you need to do is scrape any large food scraps into the trash. Let the machine and the detergent do the work they were designed for. Loading the dishwasher properly also makes a huge difference. The bottom rack is for your sturdiest items: dinner plates, large bowls, pots, and pans. Always face the dirtiest surfaces down and toward the central spray arm. Avoid nesting bowls or letting plates touch, which can create blocked-off areas. The top rack is for more delicate items: glasses, mugs, and small bowls. This is also the safest place for any plastics that are labeled dishwasher safe, as it's further from the heating element. Finally, for your silverware basket, mix up your forks, spoons, and knives, with some handles facing up and some facing down. This prevents them from spooning together and allows water to clean all the surfaces. With everything washed, the final step is to clean your surfaces. A good all-purpose kitchen spray and one of your designated utility towels or a microfiber cloth are perfect for wiping down countertops, your stovetop, and cabinet fronts. And we can't forget the final destination for all our scraps and trash. A good trash can is an essential kitchen accessory. The single most important feature is a step pedal for hands-free operation. This is a huge benefit for both hygiene and convenience when your hands are full or messy. Choose a size that fits your household's needs and a model with a soft close lid to eliminate any loud slamming. For those looking to be more sustainable, a small countertop compost bin is a fantastic addition, allowing you to easily collect fruit and vegetable scraps, eggshells, and coffee grounds, reducing the amount of waste that goes to the landfill. By adopting these simple strategies, using the right tools at the sink, loading your dishwasher correctly, and having a system for wiping down, cleanup becomes a streamlined and much less daunting task. It is the final act of respect for your kitchen, leaving it clean, organized, and ready for whatever you decide to create next. We have now journeyed through the entire process of creating a meal, from the first chop to the final wipe down. In our final chapter, we'll bring it all together. We will review the core principles of a well-equipped kitchen and talk about how to use your new setup to create a space that is not just functional, but truly joyful. Thank you for listening. Welcome back, for the final time, to The American Kitchen, your guide to essential accessories. Over the last 14 chapters, we have embarked on an incredible journey together. We started with the single most important tool, the chef's knife, and from there, we systematically built a complete, functional, and efficient kitchen from the ground up. We learned the science of accuracy with the right measuring tools. We turned up the heat with the essential pots and pans for the stovetop and explored the versatile bakeware that commands the oven. We opened the utensil drawer to find the small but mighty heroes that make every task easier. We embraced modern technology for precision and learned how to preserve our tools for a lifetime of use. We brought order to chaos with smart storage systems and wrapped our kitchen in the safety and comfort of essential linens. We powered up our countertops with the electric workhorses that save us time and effort, and we explored the specialty tools that take our cooking to the next level. We even moved to the dining room to set a table that honors the food we create, and finally, we mastered the art of the cleanup. Now, in this final chapter, we bring it all together. This isn't about adding new items to our list. It's about understanding the core philosophy that ties all these accessories together, and about transforming your well-equipped kitchen into a true source of joy. As we look back, a few key principles emerge. The first, and most important, is quality over quantity. You do not need a 20-piece cookware set or a drawer overflowing with single-task gadgets. You are far better served by investing in a few, high-quality, versatile items. One great chef's knife will do the work of a dozen mediocre ones. One heavy-duty, clad stainless steel skillet will outperform an entire stack of flimsy pans. This principle asks you to be a curator of your kitchen, choosing each piece with intention. The second principle is the right tool for the right job. We learned that a liquid measuring cup is fundamentally different from a dry one. We learned why a food processor is for chopping and a blender is for liquefying. Using the correct tool isn't about being rigid, it's about making your work easier, safer, and more effective. When you use the right tool, you aren't fighting your equipment. The process becomes fluid, and the results are consistently better. Our third principle is a place for everything, and everything in its place. An organized kitchen is a peaceful kitchen. When your pantry is arranged with clear, airtight containers, and your most used utensils are within arm's reach, the friction of cooking melts away. You can find what you need when you need it. This sense of order reduces stress and frees up your mental energy to focus on the creative, enjoyable parts of cooking. And that leads to our final, overarching principle. Your kitchen should serve you. The goal of building this collection of accessories is not to create a perfect, magazine-worthy showroom. It's to create a deeply personal and functional space that fits the way you live and the way you love to cook. Your kitchen should be a trusted partner in your daily life, making it easier to feed yourself and your loved ones, whether that's a quick weekday breakfast or a celebratory holiday feast. With this foundation now in place, the final step is to move beyond the tools themselves and cultivate joy within the space you've created. How do we do that? First, embrace the process. Try to see cooking not as another chore on your to-do list, but as a mindful, creative practice. Put on some music. Pour yourself a glass of wine. Enjoy the sensory experience, the sizzle of onions in a pan, the fragrant aroma of garlic and herbs, the vibrant colors of fresh vegetables. Don't be afraid to experiment. With a well-equipped kitchen, you have a safety net. Your sharp knife makes trying a new vegetable less intimidating. Your stand mixer makes tackling a bread recipe exciting. Your instant read thermometer ensures you won't ruin an expensive roast. Give yourself permission to try new things and to make mistakes. That's how you grow as a cook. And most importantly, remember what all of this is for: connection. The ultimate purpose of a great kitchen is to create nourishment and memories. Use your space to cook for the people you love. Better yet, invite them to cook with you. The kitchen is the heart of the home, not just because it's where the food is, but because it's where we gather, share stories, and connect with one another. Building your ideal kitchen is a journey, not a destination. You don't need to acquire everything at once. Add pieces slowly, over time, as your skills and interests evolve. The collection we have discussed in this series is a comprehensive guide, a roadmap to help you on your way. You now have the knowledge to create a space that is not just a room for preparing food, but a workshop for your creativity, a sanctuary for your well-being, and the warm, beating heart of your home. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Happy cooking!